Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we discuss the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, one quote-unquote volunteer at a time. My name is Tom Taylor.
My name is Pete Mummert, and I hate Nazis.
I'm Joe Christopher St. Magnus of Fusen, protects against caterpillars.
Oh, nice.
No, actually, I think it does. It's pretty good little tagline there, but I think they mean like if you're a farmer and there's like a horde of
Not if you're being attacked by caterpillars.
Yes, you're gonna be
I'm picturing that kid's book with like the holes in it.
Oh yeah, the very hungry caterpillar.
Yeah. Very well, just a quick little missive to Magnus of Fusen, and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, protection against crops as well as caterpillars, hail, lightning, and snakes. Porter.
Oh.
+3 protection spell. And there's a segue. And I am Brett Stillo. Hey. And welcome to the Zardoz Minute, where we talk about giant heads. And speaking of heads...
Zardoz Minute.
Zardoz Minute.
Speaking of heads, Minute 102 is littered with them, isn't it? This minute begins with the nervous soldier passing a decapitated body, and it ends with the captured indie gang being brought before Donovan. And this starts with the guy, we left the nervous soldier, Num Shiva, all nervous and sweaty and stuff. And he's facing all these, I've been making a big deal about the chintzy cobwebs in this movie, and they don't look that chintzy now, but they're going to get worse. And just keep an eye on the cobwebs. That's all I wanted to say.
I'm with you.
I have absolutely no problem with any cobweb because all I'm focused on is that first Ichabod Crane-looking guy on the floor.
Yeah.
Did you guys look at his body?
Yeah.
Like the previous volunteer that we didn't see volunteering, but he's been decapitated, and he's super weird and lumpy. I think that's the worst movie body I've ever seen.
You know what? I'm looking at it again. You're kind of right. It's all stuffed.
It's really weird. It looks like he's stuffed with socks.
Yeah.
It's like they took the criticism from Willie the Sawhorse from Temple of Doom very personally. No, we're just adding lumps and lumps on this one.
It's second 5. If you look at it, it's crazy looking.
It is crazy looking.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Which is too bad because the head next to him is it's obviously just a guy there, but it's like, all right, that works.
Yeah.
It's a head. Okay.
Sure.
For me, it's a toss-up because, in this joke-filled family movie, it's like, hey, we have a decapitated corpse. I'll take any decapitated corpse I can at this point. So
yeah, right. And it's done it's exactly gross enough and exactly tame enough. It's like bloodless, but it's bizarre, and it's not exactly gross, but it's weird. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the bloodless thing, is this another Fever Dream reference? Like lightsabers cauterize the wounds, because there's absolutely no blood here, and there won't be in a minute when someone else is decapitated. It's just like a completely the head comes off and they're. Nothing. It's just completely clean.
Well, yeah, I mean, Yahweh does want to clean up that mess.
Yeah.
But he's fine with the mess of the cobwebs.
Yeah, I think PG-13 cauterizes the wound.
Yeah, the PG-13.
Let's kill people, but keep it clean, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, we're all here for fun.
I'll say this, at least at least they're consistent with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's crazy, but at least this guy has no blood at all, and the other guy doesn't have any blood either.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a Hatay thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the people of Hatay just don't have that much blood.
Or it doesn't spurt. They're poolers.
And I can't stand gore. I have a hard time watching gore. So I wholeheartedly endorse this. And I wholeheartedly endorse the movie Dunkirk. If you ever want to watch a war movie with no blood.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds lame.
You know, I was thinking about this. Look, if I was a volunteer and I saw the decapitated guy, even though you get to keep all your blood, he's still decapitated. And, you know, I was just wondering, like, I might just walk through a little bit, you know, past where Donovan, you know, and the Nazis can't see you, which they clearly can't. And I would just maybe hide in a little cranny and be quiet.
Yeah. Oh, I found the Grail.
Yeah.
You guys should see it. It's great.
Or just maybe just like you just, you know, walk to, like, you know, 15 feet to the right or something. You duck down and then, you know, they yell their name, they yell your name and you don't answer. And, you know, you just kind of wait for the next guy or eventually they might just go home.
Yeah, no one's going to come after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just going to think you're dead. Like, who knows how you died.
Yeah.
It's a good point. I mean, what is Donovan's plan? Like, is he just going to keep sending guys in there over and over again until, like, the blades get dull or something? And they can just kind of mildly knock people over instead of cutting their heads off?
Well, that's kind of like what the that painting in Henry's house looks like. They just waited until enough knights fell into the chasm that they could just walk across them.
The Bridge of Knights.
That spirit or wind-like thing that passes through the tunnel there, is that a recommissioned Ark Ghost?
I wanted the same thing.
My note is just, it's beautiful.
Yeah. You definitely get that vibe.
Yeah.
See, I'm wondering if it's like, you know, what are your orders now that the Ark's been opened, and you know, oh, I'm shipping off to this Crescent Canyon thing.
Yeah, we go on to cave.
Yeah.
Cut some
I don't know,
people's
it's supposed to be
off.
good. I think it's going to be hot, but
Yeah.
Actually, it'd be very temperate. This would probably be the most pleasant place to be if you're in a cave. It'd be
That's
exactly
true.
like 58 degrees the entire time.
yeah.
Stand there in the breath of God all day. Perfect 72 degrees.
I absolutely love how Yahweh just bowls the guy's head towards the Nazis like he's going for a strike. It's got like a little English on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that head comes flying out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good head too.
Yeah. I've seen this movie more than once, less than a million times. I don't think I'd ever even noticed the blade before. And if you freeze frame at about second 23, you can see a wonderful animated hacksaw or something like that. Giant toothpick. But there you go. I'd never noticed that before because, you know, at this point in the movie, you're not sure what's going on. And they're kind of leading you to think, ooh, ghosts are cutting this guy's head off or something.
Yeah.
So to actually see the blade, hey, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Well, why would Hitler's army need the Grail if they could just harness like the ingenuity of the guy that made this blade?
Yeah, really.
Like if you were an army in antiquity with this technology, you could just line all of your city gates with these and you'd be completely impregnable.
Well,
It's a good point.
it's complicated because the designer of all these death traps went back to his home in the stars after he completed this. And, you know, a few of his friends stayed behind in Peru, but let's not go there. Never mind.
Oh, boy.
You know what? I don't understand why Yahweh kills this guy. That just feels kind of dirty to me. Like, this isn't some Sodom and Gomorrah vengeful God. This is the New Testament story.
I put this not on Yahweh. I put this on the Nazis because they know this is happening and they're like, they don't care. Like, we're not going to take this seriously. We're just going to keep sending sacrificial lambs one after another. And this guy walks up there, and that's probably his buddy. Like, he might have grown up next to that guy. And he looks down and he sees him without his head.
Yeah. Totally.
But see, I want to know, like, so what happens when this Hatay soldier goes up to heaven? Like, does God say to him, you know, listen, I have a reputation, you see, and I have to, you know, I mean, look, it's nothing personal. Why don't you grab yourself a Fresca?
See, I know I got yelled at for not seeing God as like a character in these movies and stuff, but I really don't think he has anything to do with the mechanisms of these booby traps. I don't think he's behind cutting this guy's head off.
But wait. What's going on with we have the Ark ghost that's tripping it or whatever.
No, that's not a ghost, though. That's just the webs, the wind going through the webs. It kind of looks sort of Ghost Ark-like.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, hang on a second.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So do you mean to say that there's nothing spiritual about this death?
Actually, yeah.
Like, I should say there's nothing sort of otherworldly or spiritual or anything biblical. I mean, nobody's juicing out blood.
That's just because it's the movie. The kids are gonna not go pay money to see the movie if, well, I mean, the kids would, but the parents aren't gonna pay money for their kids to see the movie if there's blood. No, I mean, yeah, there's like a 2,000-year-old knight that we're gonna meet in a little bit. That, that's supernatural, yes, but no,
sure.
Henry described these as, booby traps, devices of lethal cunning. These are just machines. These are human beings put these here.
So all right. So there's this isn't the same as like you open the Ark of the Covenant and you look.
Right. Yeah, it's made to seem that way because it's all like breath of God and like you got to be penitent and kneel, otherwise you get your head cut off. Mm-hmm. So it's got those. The
elements.
It's meant to make the elements are there.
The elements are there. I think I really like this sequence for that reason. That they're definitely nodding to scenes we've seen before, but I think they also kind of go deeper into like this little sequence with this poor little Hatay soldier, who knows? Maybe he's a superhero in Hatay media culture. I don't know, but to me, there's a pureness of Indiana Jones here. Like like you mentioned the cobwebs are chintzy, but then now they're sort of almost glowing, and you can use your imagination and in the cobwebs see monsters and things, and the air blowing them. In so many of the Indiana Jones movies, there are moments where. Yeah, a character says, "Oh, it's the wind, right? Had to be." And we're sort of left to decide, was that divine intervention or was that just the wind? Mm-hmm. For some reason, it reminds me of in Marion's bar when I believe it's she looks at I forgot the name of the little feller, Staff of Ra, or the headpiece. Yeah, and then there's a. And was that just Tote opening the door because he's a jerk, or was that something else?
Right.
So that's what I like about this sequence. It's we could just say, well, it's just a mechanical buzzsaw creating a gust of wind, or it could be ghosts.
Yeah.
All of the above.
So, at second 28, Elsa looks at Donovan in disgust.
Yeah, or even almost betrayal.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, almost. Is that just because he never gets his hands dirty? Like, is it because that, we lost the first guy, and you're like, okay, clearly this isn't the right plan or the best entrance here. We need a plan B. And then he just goes like, get another volunteer. And so is she just upset that like, oh, another guy got murdered for no reason?
I think, she's like, we just stop sending guys in there because their heads keep coming off and it's gross. It's freaking me out. This isn't going to work. We're going to be here all day.
See, it's weird. I just, like, like, if you watch it, you're like, oh, God. Who said betrayal? Yeah. You're like, it's betrayal. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know. I don't think she cared that much.
No, see, I like it because I think her reaction and... you're going to get angry, Jerry, but I think Marcus's reaction right after it, I like both of them because they feel like actual true human reactions. Because, I mean, if in real life you're standing there and you see somebody's head get lopped off and roll towards you, unless you're like a real psychopath, this is probably how you're going to react.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that reaction. His reaction to the head. I do like, It reminds me actually of Willie in the Temple of Doom when they first see that and she sees the guy get his heart ripped out.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Oh, yeah.
and she's having that like kind of really real seeming just like panic freak out for a second.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wow, look at that.
Yeah. I'd never noticed that line before about, helmet, get another volunteer.
Yeah.
And, I don't hate Nazis as much as I hate Donovan. I mean, I think that I wish there had been more of that where we saw just the gluttonous, super capitalist. I'll just buy some guards and make some guys do it, and I don't care. I don't know if this has ever come up, but I'll hijack the podcast for a minute because it's interesting to me that
Please do.
Jeffrey Boehm a few years later had a very similar character in not quite so great movie, but I sure do love it, called The Phantom. Definitely in that Indiana Jones-ish, pulpy genre. And it's interesting because he had a character in that, he was the central villain. His name was Xander Drax. And it's basically Walter Donovan again. This time was played by Treat Williams, who kind of goes more over the top with the whole, 1930s pencil thin mustache. Get 'em, boys! And in that movie, it's just Drax. He doesn't have, there's no affiliation with the Nazis or the Ku Klux Klan or, what are some other nefarious organizations? The Christian Science Monitor, and it's just, he's Xander Drax, evil millionaire. And, I can't remember what the MacGuffin is exactly, but he's just after, world power because I want it. And, I feel like that is maybe what Jeffrey Boehm, how he may have originally pictured this character, and in rewrites and what have you, he just sort of got smothered. But I would have preferred it if Donovan was just a mean millionaire. Go figure, right? But
well, do you think they don't make Donovan nefarious enough?
No, sir. I think they give him a few nefarious moments, but this is the problem, and you guys have talked about this. Because of the central thingy of the movie being, our hero working it out with his dad. Some of the other characters don't get as much screen time as they could have used. I think if we'd have had, a scene of Donovan, like burning dollar bills or, torturing somebody with burning dollar bills or something like that, that would have.
He does have the Nazi euphemism thing down. He was talking about, the donated treasure, the quote unquote donated treasure. And now he's talking about volunteers. Like he and the Nazis definitely had that terrible euphemism thing.
Sure. True that. But I like that line. You don't even get to see Donovan say it, which is too bad. Because, it's time for another volunteer. I wish Donovan would have had a couple more scenes, but c'est la vie.
Yeah, I feel like he should have been fleshed out a little more. That would have, but again, it's hard to with you have so many giant forces in this movie.
Yeah.
What's so strange about the ending of this minute is that it looks exactly like the dance fight in Beat It.
It does.
Yeah, it's like Donovan comes from the left and Indy and his crew come from the right. They're two rival gangs.
Or the Covenant Avengers comic book, the Clash of the Titans. Yeah. You really want them to start slugging each other or something.
I want to see them all start snapping. Yeah, snapping their fingers.
Exactly.
I tie their hands together.
I'm having I was feeling okay with Marcus with his human reaction, but I'm back onto the Marcus, the storm is raging.
Yeah.
Because you see him sitting there and then suddenly you see his eyes start to cross and you realize there's a gun pointed at him. And then the music even does that little boom, boom, boom.
Oh,
and it just,
God.
That's tough. And then he pulls a Fred G. Sanford and he puts his hand over his heart like he's having a heart attack, and it's rough.
They literally can't look. They can't point the camera at him. when he's not doing something goofy. Yeah. You know? He's got to be goofy now. He's only goofy now. It wasn't always like this.
It reminded me of Jonathan Harris as Dr. Smith on Lost in Space.
Just
the way over the top. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow, he nailed that. You're right. Is it, wow, I had no note on Marcus,
Wow.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Well, I don't, I think everybody knows how I feel. That's fine. But question for you, Pete, since you brought it up, is it the is it the cross eyes on the barrel? Is that what did it? Like, he's just cross-eyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't he actually almost do a gulp too? I mean, it's just a complete cartoony. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the only thing he didn't do was faint.
That's true. Yeah.
Get the vapors.
However,
Get the vapors.
One thing we can call out is the coolness of Denholm Elliott, because this is a scene where you can actually get a good view of his mangled thumb.
Oh, get out of here. I didn't know he had a mangled thumb.
He has in of all things, and I'm not making this up, a lawnmower accident when he was a teenager.
Wow.
Oh,
really?
When he does that, that gesture where I think he's sort of reaching for his throat and
you can totally see it.
Yeah, he's missing the tip of his thumb, which I just read it was a lawnmower accident, which I'm sure it wasn't funny to Denholm the day it happened, but it sort of has a tragic lawnmower accident. It's like something on a Spinal Tap.
Was that the reasoning center of the thumb that he lost? The common sense center?
What's crazy is I sat next to an ER nurse on a plane once. And it was a long flight. And I said, all right, listen, just hit me with it. Give me 3 things, just 3 tips for staying out of the ER. And she goes, well, that's easy. Okay. I said 3, just, and she goes, okay, like 80% of ERs are filled with this. And she goes, don't drink and drive. Mm-hmm. Wear your seatbelt and don't drink and drive. I go, well, okay, kind of public service announcement, no brainer. She said, and number 2, don't do drugs. I said, oh, sure, okay, another public service, but that's great. And she goes, no, really, drugs, really. I mean, that's a lot of the people who come into the ER. And she said, and third, don't if something breaks and gets stuck, don't try to unjam it using your hand. And I go, wait, for real? And she goes, oh, yeah. And she goes, I'm from Buffalo. And so we have, we've just had our first snow. And we've had several people come in with all sorts of mangled hands, etc., from the snow blowers.
Oh, my God.
The snow blower gets stuck. And, of course, your initial reaction is, let me see what's that. And then now you're in the ER.
God damn.
Yeah, so we let, lawnmower accident, you go, hey. I asked the nurse, she said, she goes, and in summer, it's lawnmowers. When winter season starts, it's snowblowers. Summer, it's lawnmowers. I was like, God, I wouldn't have thought of that.
They should have put Denholm Elliott on a poster or something.
Yeah.
Hey, kids.
Don't be like me.
We learned from this movie that Nazis love bagels.
I was going to bring that up again.
One of the guys,
he says it again.
Yeah, one of the guys pulling guns on the indie gangs is, I love a bagel, which is just like the guy in the tank.
Yep.
A few hours earlier.
Yep.
Wow.
And what is that? I know he's probably not asking for a bagel. What does he actually say?
Kind of a bagel. Don't move.
Oh.
Yeah, because to me that you just said kind of a bagel. Well, like a donut, like a crescent roll. It's kind of a bagel. Okay.
God, you're such a bagel.
Well, speaking of kind of a bagel,
yeah.
Something's come over the bagel wire.
Oh,
this just in from Professor Christy Porter. Is that the Millennium Falcon on Sala's tie?
No.
Let me take a look. Wait a minute.
I like that Christie's pulling for the fever dream and Tom's like, no.
I'm looking at it.
Round pattern thing.
He still has that cummerbund.
Yeah, that thing's weird.
Yeah. Huh.
Sala's got a hernia.
You know, I was just thinking the same thing. He's keeping his guts in.
He's going to prom after this. Well, is that all we got for minute 102? Last call for 102.
I think that's it. It's been interesting doing a couple of episodes of the Indiana Jones Minute where we really didn't see much of Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. He's been around.
He's in the background.
Brandished a gun.
Yeah. For the most part, it's been the Hatay soldier and the cave minute, but I'll miss him. I'll miss that little guy.
Yeah, we all will.
Tiptoeing through the scenes.
Well, Brett, before you leave us, why don't you tell the nice people where else to find you and the other things you're working on?
Oh, my many, many projects. Yes. I can't leave without mentioning another project that Josh and Horowitz and I are involved in, and that's 12 Chimes. It's Midnight.
Yes. Oh, I love that show.
That's a throwback to old-time radio. It's audio melodrama, produced by our good friend Amy Pavi. And we just wrapped our second season, which was a lot of fun. We did a live show here in San Francisco. And
cool.
12 Chimes, It's Midnight is a throwback to the old-time radio suspense thrillers of the 1930s and 40s. And we're definitely drawing from, pulp elements that, so I kind of feel a certain kinship to Indiana Jones with a few of the episodes I've written, kind of drawing from that era. And while we don't do serials, it's kind of that same melodrama and gory stuff like that. So yeah, if you have a moment, check out 12 Chimes, It's Midnight. Not to be confused with 11 Chimes, It's Midnight, or 13 Chimes After Midnight. And check that out. And you want to hear a quick story?
Sure.
No, okay. Oh, you do want to hear a quick story. I made money off of Indiana Jones recently.
Oh.
How do you do that?
How do you make money?
How does that work?
We can all learn that. Yeah, I mean, I was creating a little tiny promo video for a European tech firm here in San Francisco, and they wanted to just in a minute, 2 minute showcase. Oh, we're all our international employees, how we have people from all over the world, and how can we do that in a minute? And I'm in this little meeting and it's going back and forth and no one can decide what to do. And I kind of just raised my hand and said, hey, do you remember Raiders of the Lost Ark? Yeah. What if we have the Raiders theme and then we have the map and everybody says, hey, I'm from Egypt. Hey, I'm from Belgium. and they bought it and I made it. And and I used the Raiders theme. And and I got to animate the map thing. That was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. That's
fun. Silly little thing. But yeah, I just thought, hey, I'm making my own fan film here. So there. And I got paid for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
did you make at least the price of a ticket to Marrakesh?
Oh, if only. Yeah. So we should all think of ways we can, because Disney doesn't care. They got so much going on. They aren't going to notice. So go for it. Make money off of Indiana Jones.
We're trying.
Yeah. Yes. Segue to
why don't you go support the show at patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. You'll be glad you did. Actually, it will be. It's a lot of fun over there. I'm having a ball. But also, please just keep on enjoying this show. Like tomorrow, when we'll be back with minute 103 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Pete, is this your least favorite Marcus scene?
No, that was I had that. I think I got past that one earlier, but this one's maybe number 2. Boom. Boom. Boom.
It's kind of the coup de grace for me.
Yeah.
You can go back and forth about when he gets off the train and Sala meets him, but this one is just so goofy. It's like, no, that's it. You've ruined this character.
Boom. Boom.
Wah, wah.